welcome to Out of the Box Radio with me, your host, Christine Blasdale. Out of the Box Radio is a weekly podcast of audible ear candy dedicated to bringing a fresh perspective on this thing that we call life. And each and every week, we're going to be diving into the topics that matter most with lively conversations on issues such as health, wellness, and transformational healing, all with the goal of creating a better world and becoming a happier human being. I will be your tour guide for this epic adventure, and each and every week we're going to be embarking on a journey with the ultimate goal being transformation to our highest potential. And now, let's get out of the box. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Out of the Box Radio. I am your host, Christine Blasdale, and I am so happy to have my dear friend, my soul sister, Ms. Abigail Noel, with me today. Abigail is a master channeler and medical intuitive and all-around incredible human being that I'm so lucky to call my friend and my soul sister. And welcome back to Out of the Box.
Hey there, Christine. Thank you. You know what? 100% reciprocal, equally blessed, and I'm honored to be here again on Out of the Box Radio. I love you. You are just as near and dear to me. Thank you.
Well, in today's show, we're going to be talking, because we always say that whatever happens in our own lives is really a reflection of what's happening, sort of the general zeitgeist of what's happening, at least I've 100%. Noticed to my friends, right? Everything right. that I'm experiencing, everything you're experiencing. If you turn around and look at your friends, your family, they're going through really the same things, but although maybe it seems like it's a little different.
Yeah, maybe different classes, different characters, but the energetic class and the learning, is oftentimes the same. We're all on the same grid.
And we're going to be focusing in today on what we're going to call the bravery boot camp, or being brave, stepping into your real destiny.
Bravery boot camp for big change, because life is change, and many of us fear it when really we've got to embrace it. And when you start really embracing change and stepping, when I say brave, really challenging, many of us have things that we want to do in our lives, or things that sometimes that we know would be a benefit to our lives, but we have fear surrounding that. So this is a boot camp for really getting techniques, real life techniques that you can apply to your life to start challenging these fears. That's what gets you to your destiny, and that's what gets you to your authentic self. They're one and the same. It's all about the vibration.
Well, and since we're speaking about bravery, or being brave and stepping into our true destiny, let's talk about the very first thing, the obstacles. Let's talk about a few of those obstacles to achieving what we really desire in life. And number one, that would be our fears. Are maybe they're conscious or maybe they're not, but the deep-seated fears that we have, where do those come from? How have they plagued us or hung on to us for a very long time? And then the other thing is also, sometimes it's hard to be brave when society or our family members or the friends, the social networks that we are used to being in and around are telling us to do something else, or saying, oh, no, that's...
you can't do that. That's crazy.
Right. That's not possible.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. So let's talk about...
You can't live your dreams. That's crazy. You're not here on the planet to be happy. That's crazy. Yeah. To think you should be here on the planet living and you should be happy. That's just against the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to be miserable like me. You need to be miserable like the rest of us.
When Einstein's theory of relativity would tell you that the way that you vibrate is where you're going to go. So if you want to live it happy, you have to vibrate like happy. If you want to go to Hawaii, you got to vibrate like Hawaii. If you want to become a famous dancer, then you got to get dancing. One time I heard Father God, Abba, I call him, and I was walking through the house, and I was getting a little bit, just reminding myself that on my bucket list of things to do in this lifetime, I want to play a guitar. Even if I don't have to play it, I don't have to be, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I don't have to be, Clapton. I just want to play the guitar, and be able to have fun when people are over and sing a little song. And I don't even have to be a great singer. Father God said, you know why you don't play the guitar, sweetheart? Because you don't play the guitar. And I thought, wow, that's why we don't do anything in life. So that's what this is about, doing those things that you want to do. You know, I challenged myself to stand-up comedy. It was the scariest thing that I've ever done. But I learned more about myself in that process and really taking that stage and doing that at a time when I didn't want to. Things weren't even that funny. So that's another big part of that, is that we have to really, your destiny is only as great as the opposition that you will face. And so we've got to be ready for any challenge that comes up and to be able to push through and sometimes do things even when we feel like maybe we don't really want to do that.
Well, and also, isn't it really going back to, those things that stop us from or keep us from our destiny or our goals or dreams or whatever, the fact that the people that surround us say that that's not possible, but then also those old fears, those triggers that come up. And I noticed that those triggers, a lot of times they come up right on when you're on your verge of being happy. Like you're almost, something great is happening in your life, and it's almost like there's sabotage or self-sabotage to say, no, you don't. You're not allowed to be happy. This is going to happen. They're going to hurt me. They're going to do this, or something is going to be taken away from me. But let's talk about those. Let's talk about fear. Let's talk about fear and fear of what might happen and where that comes from. I'm guessing that some of it is from this lifetime and prior experiences in the past, so to speak, air quotes. But then I'm also thinking that maybe there's some remnants from past lives that are coming up for people.
There's no way to answer that question directly, because it can be, depending on each situation and each person that you're talking about, it can be some of all of that. It can be some of all of that. Our past life energy is absolutely connected to and why we write the movie that we write in this life. So we write in scenarios and situations that trigger us the same way as unresolved past life energy. So where there is this life trauma, there is almost always, only because nothing's always, but almost always past life energy involved as well. The biggest part of it, I think, is that we are all taught, it's not what I think, it's what I'm being shown. We are all taught to judge from an early age in so many ways. And often we even see that judgment as a positive. We don't even recognize it as a judgment, but we are taught to judge from birth. And we also imprint the emotional characteristics of our parents and the other figures in our lives that are there that raise us, especially in that first 5 years. We imprint fear, we imprint worry, we imprint anger, we imprint triggers from our parents. So it's really important to start identifying those as characteristics and triggers that are not ours. That's number one. But going back to that, because of this judgment that we're taught, we all fear being ridiculed. We fear not being good enough. We fear being told that we couldn't do it.
We fear standing out or not fitting in.
Not fitting in, or getting up to do something and not being really good at it, being laughed at. Not doing it right, not doing it correctly, not being liked, not being accepted. That's at the core of most people's fears and why they don't move, forward and challenge a lot of these, what we're talking about, being brave and challenging these emotional fears and things that you really want to do that are really going to get you to your destiny. You have to be afraid to fall down.
You have to be okay, right? You have to be okay with the idea of falling down.
Yes, you can't be afraid to fall down. You have to know that you're going to fall down. Right.
But that it's okay that you do.
Absolutely, it's okay that you do.
Yeah.
In fact, the best thing to do, now this I have mastered. I just, if I completely screw something up, I laugh at myself. I find the funny in it, no matter, no matter how bad it is. I know it's going to get resolved. I may have to work a little harder. I may feel some frustration. I may even get angry. It may not be a fun situation at all, but when you can find the humor in the situation, you can find the truth. And I
can equate that to even just like with interpersonal relationships when you're communicating with someone, and be it a friend, a family member, or someone, a love interest or a romantical interest. When you have like a miscommunication, those other fears of the fears of being ridiculed, the fears of being wrong or whatever, or laughed at or whatever, our defenses go up. And so sometimes we can shut off that love spigot and put up these walls and defenses and say and do things to one another that, even people that we really love that are kind of cold and harsh. But when you're able to communicate your fears, say,
And be vulnerable. Because you can't be brave.
What I've noticed is that when you are able to do that, and you have a like-minded person who's also being vulnerable and saying, okay, well, this is what this is where my fears are. This is where I thought, if it was a miscommunication. Humor, the ability to laugh at your own behavior, just saying oh my God, do you, and even having somebody say, you know how silly you were,
Right.
Did you know that you did this? No, did I really? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. But to be fun with it and to laugh at it.
Yep.
When you're able to bring in humor,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, it makes everything so much easier.
Right. And you know what I love about that
It's
is
accepting. Then you're accepted by that person still.
I thought of this the other day. The closest thing that I personally have experienced to heaven on earth is being loved in spite of myself, being loved anyway. So when you act like a total idiot, right, just an absolute ass, and someone tells you all about it, and you go, yeah, I did that, I'm an ass, and they go, you know what, I love you anyway.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling ever, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the best feeling ever. But here's the wild thing. If we stay in that place of fear, and that's what this is so great about, challenging some of these, and it could be challenging, maybe what you want to do, maybe the fear that you want to challenge is making reparation or saying something in a relationship in your life to anyone. It could be a mother, a brother, a current lover, an ex-lover, a good friend, doesn't matter. Something that you have held in that you wanted to say that you didn't say because you were scared. Do it. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. And this is what's amazing, because after death, okay, so the afterlife, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, it doesn't matter. There's no language. Nobody presses 1 for English or 2 for Spanish. There's one language, the language of the heart. We speak telepathically. This is how animals communicate, and you can't hide anything.
Right.
So we might as well get started now. Why wait till you die? Give it a shot. And the greatest thing you'll ever do is speak your truth, even if it changes, in the next second. And that works magic if you just let it go and be vulnerable enough to say and do the things that you're, afraid of, knowing that. And this is the other thing that's so beautiful about it. That gives the other person in the relationship, no matter what that relationship is, permission to be vulnerable also. Now you guys can really get to know each other. Wow. Now you can really have a relationship because now there's truth in the room.
When
There's
you're
an
both
authentic
when you're
expression.
both afraid of being vulnerable and putting up your defenses or your protections, it's not really. Then it's just what it's just like an acquaintance. It's just that, okay, there's another human being over there, but I'm not going to allow myself to be vulnerable. Then how deep can you go?
You really can't. And in reality, we tend to say whether people know it or not, we tend to categorize love. You can't do that. There's only one kind of love, and it's called unconditional love. So really, when there is not full truth, when you're hiding or you're keeping something back for fear of a response or not being accepted by the other person or people, then there really is no love there. You can call it deep caring or you can call it whatever it is, but God, love, and truth, they walk hand in hand regardless of your definition of God. It's not about religion, folks. It's that they go hand in hand. And so where there is no complete truth and honesty, how can you possibly know the depth of the love? You can't. You haven't even given that person a chance to completely know you when you're hiding.
And there's so many people that are hiding from each other. What I see is a lot of times two people in as far as in relationships with one another, it's the outside surface stuff that is the glue. It's not the fact that they truly care about each other's feelings and emotion and fears. And the thing is that you're not going to ever erase someone's fears or completely dissolve them. But what you can do is, like you said, is hold your space of love and love them through that.
Be the example.
And be
You be
there you
vulnerable
go.
and show them it's okay to let down their guards. It's okay to embrace and voice your fears. It's okay to communicate them. You're going to be loved anyway. And then to be able to hold that space for somebody and truly love somebody. I'll get this a lot in sessions, individual sessions with someone when we're talking about being honest in a relationship, especially a love partnered, passionate relationship. They'll say, but if I really tell them what I think, I'm going to hurt their feelings. If I really tell them what I think. And so we tend to say we're protecting the other person by not speaking truth. That's not in reality it at all. And if that person can't handle the truth and also hold an unconditional loving space for you, then that person wasn't strong enough for you at that time in their life. They are not ready, willing, or able to choose that level of truth or self-love. And so if that relationship dissolves because of the truth that you've spoken, then you've got to know that the universe is going to return you something that is more suited for your energy at that time, someone who is ready, willing, and able to handle that level of truth and that level of unconditional love.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
So important.
And at the time that people are going through something like that, they're not seeing that, but
There's a voice I'm hearing right now. It's Christ Yeshua. He said, there is no love lost. There is no love lost. It's always replaced for both people and something that's better suited for them at that time.
comes in.
Yes, and we've got it this way. You've got to stand and be brave in your relationships. One more place I wanted to go because the reason that people don't challenge their fears in relationships, and also, things that we want to do. Maybe you want to be a singer, you want to play an instrument, you want to do art, you want to dance, you want to do stand-up comedy, something you've always dreamed of. Maybe you had a dream and you went, oh no, not for me. Go do it. Go challenge. What's the worst that you can do? Because here's what's beautiful. You can't really mess up. Your destiny and your success is directly related, and math and science support this statement. It is directly related to the number of times you mess up. Just like the number of times that you will make a basketball in the basket is directly related to the number of times it bounces off that hoop. The more times you screw up, the more you are literally destined for greatness. So, and here's the thing, it's the people who say, well, I've never messed up. Well, that's right. You never stepped out of your box. You've never challenged yourself. I'm glad you have a perfect record.
Right.
It's those who are really out challenging life, living life, and being active participants in life that it's going to look like you mess up. Of course, you're going to drop the ball when you're the one carrying it all the time, and you want to be the one they're throwing the ball to in life. We've got to change the way we see that. Make sense? And if people don't get it, pardon the expression, but screw them with love.
Yeah. Well, that was the next part that I wanted to go over was with this bravery, and we're going to let people know too in just a little bit about your being brave, stepping into bravery boot camp.
Big Change Boot Camp.
Big Change Boot Camp that you have available to a few people because I know the spaces are limited, but we'll talk about that in a second. But one of the things is that when individuals start to be brave and start to live their truth and say, wow, this is what makes me happy. I like this feeling of whatever it is when they're going. Lo and behold, either family members or friends or, the little social networks that are around us that we have identified with, those sometimes will kind of squash our dreams or say, that's not possible. We were talking about that earlier.
Right.
That's not possible. You can't be that happy. That, be realistic.
Right.
You know how many times I've heard, be realistic, Christine. And I'm like, what is that? What's reality? That? What's your reality is different than my reality, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that. What happens, Abby? What happens when people they're stepping into their own and trying to be brave, but society or everyone around them is telling them something different. You're bad or you're wrong or whatever.
Well, and we bring to us, we attract to us what we need to get stronger. The universe is divine and it is perfect in the way it responds. It's literally whether we respond or react that creates the reality that we experience in our own lives, is how we respond or react to the situation that we're given. with that said, most of us, again, as I said, we fear not being accepted and being abandoned. Because of that fear, when we start making changes, positive changes to raise our own vibration. So now remember, we were hanging out with birds of a feather, because this is also, it's not personal, it's math. So when your vibration raises on a subconscious level, it creates fear in people and or jealousy. They either look at you and they see you stepping out and doing things they wish they could do, but they're not ready, willing, or able to do that at that time.
Right.
It's easier to make you the bad guy. Or they just fear the change that you're going, well, that's basically it again. I mean, it's just that they're not ready, willing, or able to make that change. And also, again, on a subconscious level, when your own vibration raises and you found something that really fits, that is in your soul's nature, that you know is on your destiny track, you are right where you're supposed to be, this feels good. When other people don't have that, even if they don't know it on a conscious level, on a subconscious level, it scares the heck out of them, and it kind of makes them mad.
They'll try and sabotage it.
Yep, they will want to sabotage it, because what that means is that if they accept that the changes you've made and you being brave or whatever that is that you're stepping out to do is causing you to be happy, then they either have to put it down or they've got to be ready to make a change for themselves. And if people aren't ready to make that change, it's better really.
And it's easier, isn't it, to not change? It's easier to just.
Well, now what's funny is,
I mean, I'm saying in the general. I'm not saying for me personally.
No, I get what you're saying, but I guess where I get hung up is no, it's not. The illusion is that it is, and we stay stuck. It's much harder. It's much harder to judge, and it's much harder, to stay in that place, because if you're not embracing change, then you're developing resentments, and you're laying blame in places,
And once you yourself change too, what I've realized is that I can't be around people who want
to steal someone's fire,
who want to steal someone's fire, or who be realistic, or oh come on now, or they keep going back down to that thing of that's not. I can't be around them. Because the energy that they're emitting is one of the reasons, one of the things. But also,
and that's wise, though. You don't want to be around them.
No.
You don't. With love, you want to separate yourself from that energy. Even if you've got to be in the same room with that person, you can still just decide that your energy is not going to commingle with their energy, and their comments are going to bounce. The other whole, what is it? I'm rubber, you're glue, bounces off me and sticks to you.
Yeah.
You just do things like that in your head, but you don't have to make conscious choices to hang out with people that lower your vibration at all. In fact, it's not wise to do, and that's a lesson that took me 48 years to learn.
How many people do constantly have their vibration lowered or dragged down because of just the people that are around them?
Mm-hmm. And most of us don't know we can do something about that. You know what's wild? This is a true story. Science and math support this. If you have a job, because I could hear someone saying, oh, well, what if it's your job? You can't do anything about the people you have to hang out with. It's my job. Okay, for whoever that was, however many people just said that, if you decided that you were going to get your resume together and go get a headhunter or do it yourself or whatever that is, send out 100 letters, go door to door, you're going to get a new job, by God, and you know that you're going to get people who are positive and support you in this new job because you're going to put forth the effort. You're not going to whine, and you're not going to complain about the job you have. You're going to decide that the universe is going to support you, because the best thing that you can do for everyone here on the planet is get happier and live in a place called I'm a little happier than I was yesterday, even if that's the best you can do. That is good enough for the universe, and the universe will provide that new job with supportive people around you. If we just don't stop, I like to say this a lot, there's a difference between whining and bitching. Whining's not allowed. That means that you're just talking about it and not taking action to change. Bitching is when you're bitching productively because you're taking action to change, okay?
I've done some bitching.
I do a lot of bitching.
I do some bitching, but I don't whine. No, I don't think I whine.
No, we're action figures.
Yeah, we're definitely action related. Well, and especially when you need to be brave and step into whatever it is, if there's a new opportunity, if there's a new relationship, a new anything, and you need to be brave. What I've found is that the more brave you are, and just saying, I'm going to do the best that I can.
You can't be afraid to fail.
Exactly.
At a job, a relationship, whatever.
I'm going to do the best I can. I'll do the best thing that I can. It may work out. It may not work out, but that's okay. I'm going to do the best. And all I can say is I can sleep good at night because I'm going to do the best that I can. And what happens when you go in with that attitude is it's true. The universe supplies you with support, with people that'll say, "Hey, is there something that I can do to help you?" Doors open up that were closed before. All of those things by just saying, "You know what? I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm just going to go ahead and do the best that I can." And you know what? I deserve it. That's the other thing. I think as human beings, we don't think that we deserve to be happy. That's like a psychological.
Or supported.
Or helped or supported. But I mean, at the core of it, I think, and this is generationally, I've just noticed that, I think there's an issue with human beings that in us, there's something that says we don't deserve to be happy. You know, life needs to be hard. Life is hard, and, you know, you got to work hard, and maybe because we've witnessed our parents living lives and maybe they weren't happy. I don't know, but there's some nugget within us that, and I wish it would change. And this is what I want this show to also do, is to kind of address that, that you have the birthright, you have the divine birthright to be happy because you are divine yourself. You are part God, if not, a whole hell of a lot of God, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're all here to reflect God, love, and truth. God, love, and truth. Birthright to be happy, 100%. And I'm sort of asking what to say, because some people say, well, how do you get happy? Random act of self-love and knowing that even in all of your imperfection, you are absolutely loved. I love this one, but it's like, seriously, everybody listening, and thank you for listening. Everyone listening, just check this out. You all have the same right to just screw shit up in your life and here on the planet as everyone else, and still be loved and still be supported on the planet. And we're so hard on ourselves. We are so hard on ourselves. What does that look like to start learning how to make yourself happy? Because here's the gig, guys. Do you know why most of us aren't happy, and especially in relationships? And you get a relationship and you go, wait a minute. You know, there's that 3-week window, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm not happy again. You know, 3 weeks is up. That honeymoon dating period is over. Because if you don't know how to make yourself happy, and I know we hear this over and over and over again, then you will not know how to be happy with anyone else.
Of course.
And you'll confuse the hell out of whoever that is. Number 2, and they'll confuse the heck out of you. With that said, what does it look like? You guys, it's juvenile. It's going back to the mind of a child. It's play. There are times when, because here's the gig, life is hard. It's a very Buddhist philosophy here, you know, but life is dukkha. It's hard. And as soon as we realize that, but then that we realize that we don't have to entertain that. We can play in the middle of the storm. We can let go. If we would all let go of the things we cannot change, guys. We cannot change who's president. We cannot change healthcare right now. We cannot change what's going on around the world. We cannot change, but we can affect what's going on inside each one of us. We can affect whether I'm in my head or I'm in my heart. I can affect whether I reach out and help one of my brothers or sisters every single day. And what I'm learning, this is a big one for just getting brave in your life, is that we each have the power to affect change if we would let go of worrying about all these things that we cannot change and start serving ourselves, because that's an inspiration to others. And you only have to give to others what you have to give to yourself. What does that look like in my life? Gosh, there are some days when I just decide I'm gonna take whatever, the evening off. I absolutely dump what I'm gonna do. Maybe I take a 3-hour bath. Maybe I put on some reggae music. Maybe I go and get myself a chocolate milkshake. I think that's on the menu tonight. I think it is. I want whipped cream on top of that too. I start supporting my inner child, even if I'm not able. I may have to sit in that tub and cry all that night, maybe, for that 3 hours. I'm not saying that it gets fun in that moment. Even, kids have a bad day, even with all that imagination. But I pull that back in. I pull that imagination in. And I got to tell you, I don't know how anyone gets by without their divine guidance. Again, I've said this before for anyone who's listened to Out of the Box before, and I thank you so much for being there today. We are all psychic. Everyone has the ability to hear, see, and feel God. And I know that's how I get through it. My psychic connection, heaven's hysterical. So laughter. It's another thing. Do anything you can to laugh. Call that friend up that always makes you laugh. Go see a funny movie. Go get something with Robin Williams in it and watch it, or whoever your favorite comedian is. Go see some live comedy, man. Go support live comedy in your local town. Go do something. Go roller skating. Really get your body moving and get endorphins flowing. You know what I'm saying? But you've got to fight for your happiness, knowing that that is your divine birthright, and that the greatest thing that you will do in any given day is get happier for everyone around you.
Well, and especially because you had mentioned it earlier too, especially in relationships, you're not going to, at least I know that I'm not looking for someone to make me happy. I'm not looking for someone to give me something that I lack. My only job in a relationship, is not to make that other person happy, but it's to make myself as happy as possible, to be the best human being that I can. And that responsibility of me being happy is mine. It doesn't rest in somebody else. It's not. First of all, if you have that kind of philosophy that only you are responsible for making yourself happy, and that nobody else does that, you don't have to worry about anybody leaving you or hurting you or harming you. You don't have to worry about, because you can give your love freely, and if that person runs off with the mailman or takes off and doesn't speak to you ever again, you haven't lost anything. They're not responsible for your happess. You are. But then at the same time, the greatest gift you can give another human being, I see people when they're couples, or if they get married, here's look at this beautiful ring, look at this car, look at this whatever. That's not the best gift to give someone that you absolutely truly love. The best gift to give them.
A camping tent.
No,
I wanna go camping.
The best gift you could give someone is a happy you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
And you're not going to be happy all the time. I'm just saying is that in your core, that you don't have anything that you lack and that you have to get from somebody else, is what I'm saying. It's your responsibility.
Well, this is what's so cool, though. That'd be a love warrior. So what we all want to do is just become love warriors.
Love warrior. I like that.
And you got to be your own love warrior first, right? So I'm hearing that Adele song. I'm going to be standing on my own 2 feet. So be a love warrior, and then you'll attract another love warrior. And man, that's what you want. You want 2 people that get up every day and know that happiness and joy is a birthright, and that's what you're going to fight for. That's worth fighting for right there.
Yeah.
Fun, laughter, play, joy.
And it goes right back to bravery. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's the only way to laugh. Yeah, you've got to challenge. Well, because so many of us, again, there's a lot of these regrets and resentments and things are there because we don't say in our relationships what we want to say. Why? Because we're scared. And then challenging in life, the things that we really want to do. Play a guitar, be that artist, be that dancer, go, whatever it is that we really, really, really passionately want to do. Everyone has that side. We don't challenge, those sides as well. So yeah, bravery is definitely it, because you won't find out who you are until you start challenging that really passionate, artful side of yourself, because we were all meant to live life as art.
And to realize too, I'm getting the hits that I'm getting is that walking the path of a love warrior or being truly brave sometimes will seem lonely. Sometimes you'll lose people in your life, friends, coworkers, whatever. You'll lose some family members,
Oh, big time.
right?
Big time. People come.
I was just thinking, one of the highest
go.
the highest groups of individuals who are homeless are teenage gay and lesbian, gay children. They're homeless.
Is that really the highest number?
Yeah, it's like 40% or something like that of the homeless population are, and it's because they've been thrown out of the house. You're gay, you're this, you're that, you're out. Get out of my house because of religious morals. I can't imagine as a parent ever sending my child outside of the house and telling them to just go sleep on the street. I don't care. To disown your own child. I can't imagine it.
I can't imagine that for any reason.
But that's and here's someone who's being,
neither would God, who is love.
Of course.
God doesn't disown us, and we never run out
course.
of chances.
And here's a young person being brave, and
Well, I was just going to say, what a great opportunity to be brave. Yes, it's sad, but you know what I mean. To take it to the positive side, those are going to be some of the bravest people on the planet.
oh yeah. Saying this is who I am.
And that's so important these
But
days.
so it can be a lonely or a quiet walk by yourself for some time. It can be.
Joseph Campbell, I think, he have a book called The Hero's Walk. I think it's called. That's what was coming to my mind, and I think anything written on that would tell you that anyone who walks an authentic, speaks their truth, and really sets out to be who they are, be brave, be bold, and especially if you're out to affect any type of change, speaking truth, you're going to feel alone a lot.
You're going to be ridiculed.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes you're going to be made fun of. You're going to be disregarded, betrayed, manipulated,
laughed at, lied about,
yeah,
misrepresented,
yeah,
misinterpreted.
yeah, misinterpreted. Yeah,
Happens
but
a
when
lot.
you're really walking your path,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you really do. What happens
It
is
actually, you don't even. It doesn't affect you at
yeah,
all.
It stings for a little while, and then you get used to it,
And then
then after a while, you just go, "Ha! Another one bites the dust."
As you, yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah.
You send them away with love.
you send them away because you're happy. You're actually living your life the way that you dreamt of, or you're enjoying your existence, and they're still complaining about because if they're not gossiping about you or talking bad about you, trust me, they're talking bad about somebody.
Absolutely.
It's got to be somebody. It's always somebody outside of themselves,
Absolutely.
and maybe that's also to build themselves up.
They're not ready, willing, or able.
But if they
To take
bring
steps
you
up.
down, if they talk
Right.
bad about you or belittle your dreams, then it maybe makes them feel a little bit superior. I don't know.
If we allow. Only if we allow.
Oh, right. Yeah. But I'm just saying in their mind.
Right. Yeah. It's just that it's so funny because we place so much emphasis on words and interactions when the subconscious mind is always reading the energetic response of the emotions someone's feeling.
Subconscious is like 10,000 times more powerful
Oh, big time.
than the conscious mind.
Big time. And what's wild is the heart puts off more energy than any organ and way more than the brain. It's like, I don't know, 10,000 or 10 million gajillion times more than the brain. And that's really the emotional center. So,
It's
which
the
is
heart.
then processed, in the brain.
Let's talk. I want to let listeners know about your what is it? The Being Brave boot camp.
Being Brave, Big Change Boot Camp.
Big Change Boot Camp. Big Change, Being Brave Boot Camp. Let's talk about that. It's a 5-week course.
So, yep, 5 weeks, 5 sessions. What I've found in doing one-on-one sessions over the last 10 years is that really where I work best is specializing with people who are ready to make big changes in their life. That could be physical changes. It could be all the above. A physical move,
Career.
job change, career, deciding that, I'm finally going to step out. Whatever it is, you're going to open that art gallery. You're going to become a chef, whatever it is that's been a dream and you're really feeling that you want some big change. That's what I really do best. What's beautiful is, and this is spirit guided, for the most part, people work with me for about 5 sessions. And so I thought, why not just put together a package, make it really easy, 5 weeks, 5 sessions, and this is really just not just for it's for anyone who is really committed to changing their energetic field and their emotional body, their thoughts, and really getting rid of any limiting thoughts and subconscious patterns that are blocking your ability to get to your destiny. What's beautiful about this is where the intuitive side comes in, because we're all psychic. I use my intuitive nature as a healer to literally help someone identify these blocks and to work through them, to flip it like a pancake. Change the way that you're thinking, change the emotions that you're feeling, therefore you'll change your reality and start moving into that brave new world and a new reality. But with that said, 5 sessions is really all anyone needs to work with me. What this is about is clearing to hear, so that this person, whoever I'm working with, the client, then has their own divine guidance, and they are really out there flying on their own.
All right. So you'll teach them in the boot camp.
You become psychic.
And
in those 5 sessions, you are going to become
Develop your own
psychic
psych-
enough.
yeah.
It'd be like learning, learning the guitar. You've got enough now that you can go practice. You can go home and learn those 2 chords.
Gotcha.
And you can play your first song if you practice. But it's really about understanding how to clear the lower vibrational emotions that block our ability to hear our psychic guidance, our divine guidance.
Right. Okay. And so, and how can people get in touch with you to do the boot camp, the 5-session boot camp? What's the best way to reach you on your...
Go to my website, and you'll see a button. You can push a link on the first page. It's abigailnoel.com. Again, it's Abigail Noel, AbigailNoel.com. And it's right on the first page. You'll see it for the boot camp, and all of the details will be there as well.
So the individual sessions, how these are personalized, right?
Yep. So it'll be 5 sessions, 5 weeks. If someone needs to flux, if they miss a week and they need to roll it over, that's absolutely fine as well. But I'll be taking a limited number of people, because I'll be working so personally and one-on-one over the next, probably 5 to 10 weeks with the people that sign up.
So it's a 5-session big change into bravery boot camp with Abigail Noel, and it's AbigailNoel.com. You can sign up there. I know it is. It's a limited amount of people that she's able to take, but it will be one-on-one. These five sessions will be one-on-one with Abigail, and I think it's a great opportunity for people to step into their destiny, step into what really what's possible for you, and get rid of some of that old gunk that's stopping you, and whatever that is. If it's old beliefs, old fears. People around you limiting, what you think you're able to do. I think that's really, really important. And 5 weeks, 5 sessions would do it. Mm-hmm. And you give them all the tools that they need.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Absolutely.
And when you talk about too that everyone is psychic, everyone has the ability to have that. I guess it's not to hear a voice per se, but it's a connection with the divine. Is that
what I've found over? And I have just seen this happen over the last 10 years of working one-on-one, is that everybody connects in a different way, depending on what they're here to do, what their contract is, and how they like to receive that connection. But some people feel it. Some people get shivers. Some people do hear voices, not the way people do. It's not with your audible ears. My team says with the ears of your heart. That you hear.
Oh, I like that.
So it's definitely an internal voice that you hear, but it's not yours. It comes from outside your existence. But people wake up and hear in many different ways. What's beautiful is everyone, it's just like playing instruments. Everyone can learn to use all of their senses to talk to God. Everyone can learn to hear the words. Everyone can learn to smell. You can smell God. Everyone can learn to feel God or get the shivers. So you can learn just the same way that you can learn to play a flute or a guitar and the drums, anything that you choose.
Or to speak a language. Yeah, like it's like speaking a new language.
Absolutely.
But you have those innate abilities. It's a birthright.
It's an absolute birthright. Right. And that's, and it's not my opinion. That was from my channel when it became, when it was being revealed to me what my contract was was for and what I was here to do and what I was here to use my psychic nature and abilities for. And that was to work as an activator. We share brainwaves. And really, so people just remember how to be psychic. They really just wake up to it. The most important part of the work is working with any worry, anxiety, shame, blame, resentment, and guilt. And that's what we do in the sessions as well, is we connect to any blocks, relationship blocks. We may wander back into some past life references because it'll be connected to the lessons you're going through.
Past life duty.
Past life duty.
Duty caca.
Little boo-boos
Little boo-boos along the way.
that we bring into the next life that we got to clean up.
But how exciting, I think it's a really exciting time because in the course of human history, now I don't know, like way, way, way back what it was like. And maybe we were more evolved souls back then. And again, time is all relevant, right? Because there's no such thing as time. But really, at this moment in our history, or herstory, however you want to say it, we have the ability to go, wow, okay, so I am Christine, and I am, at this moment, I am this years old. I have this physical body. I live in this geographical area on the planet. But for the first time in, like, I think in history, I'm able to tap into my past lives, my multiple lives, my future lives, and even have the concept. Because remember, our grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-great-great-grand
Did not.
They just thought you were born, you live a little, you die, and then they put the Bible in there and then the religion and all the different religions, and they said you're going to heaven or you're going to hell, based on you like a girl, you're going to hell,
Right.
right, or whatever.
Right.
But really, for the first time, we're realizing that you're not just Abigail.
No.
I'm not just Christine.
Oh, no. This is just a role. This is
First
one
time
role
in
you're
history
playing.
that we're really consciously aware of it.
Yes, and not only that, in 10 years of private practice, that I've been honored to be, to have served in private practice and worked with so many people. But oh my gosh, I've never seen so many people on the planet awakening to their psychic nature and their intuitive abilities. It's incredible, and I couldn't deny it. So, and it's my understanding, I think many people know this, and I think many people are talking about it now, but the vibration on the planet is rising, and the veil is getting thinner and thinner. It's going to continue to get thinner and thinner. And we've got 2.5 generations of some of the most psychic children on the planet coming in. The beautiful thing is, and math and science support this, is it only takes 51% of the planet to be awakened to their psychic and divine nature, and the rest of the other 49 have to come along. And that's the way that we share brainwaves. We imprint one another.
Is that the 100th monkey thing or something?
I think so. We've kind of talked about that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got chills on that. So yeah, I think it is. Whatever the 100th monkey is, yes.
Well, and especially I think as more and more people wake up to their own divine nature, then you'll see, because people say, what do you mean everything is great? What are all this wonderful things happening? I see there's poverty in the world, and there's wars, and there's look what Trump's doing. Look at the political blah 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 blah. And what I tend to say when people do that to me, when they start to say that, but the world's going to hell, Christine. I tend to say is that because so many people are waking up to their own divine nature, because so many people are not requiring religion or a priest to be the conduit to God, they're actually communicating directly to God through themselves, and tap into their own divine essence. That those old control mechanisms that controlled people for centuries. Dogma, religion, government.
They don't have any control.
Kings. They don't have control, and it's freaking them out. They're like, the masses are waking up.
Oh yeah,
and so
it is changing.
There's gonna be a little pushback. I think there's gonna be they're gonna want to control, but it's out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag, so to speak. People are waking up and like daily. Like, I mean, it's going off.
So
Oh,
it's
big time.
It's a great time to be
And-
alive. It's
and
an
when-
exciting time.
Oh, it's a very exciting time. And when people start awakening to their psychic abilities and they start hearing their spirit guides, they're hearing God talk to them. They're literally witnessing God's participation and presence. Heaven, as I said, God's not about religion in the terms that I'm using here. With that said, you really don't care what the government's doing. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, that's irresponsible." No, actually, we're some of the most responsible people in the world. I'm very active and out there speaking against many things. You know what I mean? So it's not, as I said, I'm not just whining. I'm bitching. I've got action behind what I'm doing here.
Right.
The difference is, for the most part, and I have a little trouble letting go of some of this stuff. We all do, but for the most part, I can let go of the things I can't change. I don't give a flip about healthcare right now. There's not a damn thing I can do about it. So I'd rather write jokes and go express myself that way and laugh with friends, or have a session with someone who's in need than worry about healthcare. It doesn't do anything but lower my vibration. It's going to make me mad. Now we've got people sitting around worrying about what's going to happen that hasn't happened yet. I mean, we don't even know what's going to happen
Terrible
yet.
worrying right now. Yeah, lots of people really, really stressed, which, adds to that pain mechanism that so many people have, and the feeling of not being in control. And what I
But
always,
we're not.
That's the thing, is that
We're
exactly.
not.
We have so much just through the power of thought and power of belief. We have such a huge, the ability to have such a huge impact on our own health. Just the idea of the placebo effect. And I go back to that every now and then because it's just so blatantly right there. The placebo effect of, you can take a doctor, someone in authority, an authoritative figure can hand you a pill and say, this is the latest whatever ails you. This is the latest blood pressure medicine. This is the latest migraine medicine. This is the latest anti-nausal, whatever. Is that right? Anti-nausea medication.
Right.
Whatever it is. And they can say, this is the latest and greatest, and we want you to take it, and, it's trust me, it'll work. Based on trust of an authoritative figure, a doctor, a shaman, whatever, based on the belief that you think in that pill, it's the latest, greatest, you can take that pill and lo and behold, your blood pressure goes down, or, you're not as nauseous as you were, or your migraine goes away.
Right. Especially if your
Because-
friend tells you she used it and it worked great.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you really believe it.
Because it's the power of belief.
Right.
And even though if it's told to you later, by the way, that pill was just a sugar pill. There was no medicine in it.
Mm-hmm.
They've done this test repeatedly. And what's shocking to people is that, you mean there's no medicine in this pill? No, dear. There was nothing in it. Nothing in it there's no medicine in it. It was the medicine was your thoughts, was your belief.
Absolutely.
You believed so much in that pill. And isn't that so much about, we can apply that to all different kinds of things in your life.
100%. Well, I've been watching people for over 10 years now. Literally, I've watched their bodies heal as they heal the relationships and the pain in their life. So it's why I work as a medical intuitive often, and I've had hundreds come to me for physical reasons that they were not able to address through any. That's almost always people come to me for those reasons when they've gone everywhere else and can't figure out what it is, and we will figure out what the emotional foundation is for the problem, for the physical problem, and when it's resolved, the body heals. The body heals. It resolves itself.
And it's all a matter of tapping into it and finding out what those blocks are.
Well, in science, science now supports that, supports a master programmer. If you don't believe in God, there's got to be a master programmer somewhere because DNA, Fibonacci codes and things support an organized creation. Otherwise, we would have a nose growing off of our butt, you know what I mean, and a third eye on our forehead for real. And so with that said, so since science now supports an organized creation, then one would, I guess you'd have to jump and say there must be a creator that's very intelligent. So it would make sense that the body is also designed intelligently.
Yeah.
And that there would be a purpose to the pain. If there's a purpose, and I know this, there's a purpose to all of your emotional pain. And when you find a purpose in the past and you find purpose in the pain, you've got healing in the future emotionally. The body's going to be the same way. When you find purpose in that pain, it's going to heal itself as well. And it's designed intelligently to do so.
Our bodies are designed to heal.
Our bodies are designed literally to heal, but they're also designed basically like an alarm system to let us know where we are not achieving our greatness, where we're not owning our power.
Right, right.
It's in 10 years of work, I'll tell you, and Louise Hay, who really paved the way for a lot of this aspect of it as well, is just knowing what emotions are held in which body parts. So the knees are often, which is what we're talking about today, what held people back. Fear of moving forward, fear of failure, fear of the details, fear of whatever. And when people work with that, I watch knees heal. I've worked on my knees myself emotionally.
Really?
And watched my knees heal through no other medication or therapy whatsoever. Just working on my fear, and with other clients as well, of moving forward or fear of failing. Again, and when you get rid of that and you're ready to march forward and you don't mind falling down on your face, it's all good. You're ready to be vulnerable. Your knees get better, and away you go.
And I think that's so much of that is key, right? There's so much. I think there's so much happiness that lies ahead for people if they can just get past that, the fear of failure, the fear of messing up, the fear of being vulnerable. Because was it Bob Marley? Bob Marley says being vulnerable is the only true way for your heart to find happiness.
100%.
Right?
100%. Because you can't get to brave without being vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
You
There
cannot.
you go.
You cannot be brave if you can't be vulnerable. Then it's false bravado.
That's a good segue to wrap up our show.
Love is brave.
Love is brave, and I want to remind listeners that my guest has been Abigail Noel, and if you're interested in becoming brave and taking those steps, she has an incredible 5-session bravery boot camp. Be brave, get into the change boot camp that is 5 sessions, so 5 weeks, and you can sign up for the boot camp at
www.abigailnoel.com.
And it's ABIGAILNOEL.com, right?
Yep, and you'll see a link on the front page.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, as
thank
always.
you.
And I'd love, because every time, I was just going to let the listeners know, every time something's going on in my life, and same thing with you, if there's ever anything that's going on in your life, we know that we need to get it out on the air, because other people are going through the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're just a reflection of it.
We're on the same grid.
Yeah, we're on the same grid. All right, so until next week, I want to remind you to always think outside of the box. And if you missed this program, don't worry. If you missed part of it, you can actually go to YouTube and subscribe to Out of the Box Radio and share this video, which I highly recommend. Or you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or iHeartRadio. So until next week, I want to say goodbye, good night, good morning, whatever time you're listening to this. And always, always think outside the box. Bye for now.